You gotta burn that bush. This is Fluxtaposed episode 244, recorded on January 8th, 2019. On the docket today, Whatchuplayin, featuring Pokemon and Nidhogg, and maybe we'll have something else in there. I don't know. And finally, we're going to close out that show with the community grab bag and the sweet, awkward finish. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the show. It is that time. That music means one thing and one thing only. It is another episode of Fluxtaposed. You're listening to it now. Maybe you're watching it. Maybe you skipped it and you came back to it and we're still here. Yeah, we are. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I am Jason Lacey. I'm joined by Lucas Rose.
Hello.
That was nice.
Thank you.
I needed a minute to regroup after that. It was.
Every time you do that, I'm also thinking, I needed a minute. Wow. So I'm glad that you do that. Do that.
I didn't know. I didn't do.
Forget about it.
No. We're not. We can't do an entire show intro with all the voices.
Don't travel down that road.
I mean, we could, but most people probably do expect that from us by now. But hey, welcome to Fluxtaposed. We are happy to have you here. It's another great journey, Lucas and myself, through the world's #1 hangout drinking companion podcast, hosted by Lucas and Jason. I can guarantee you that.
It's true.
Guarantee you that. And we're happy to have you here. We'd like to invite you into our lives, invite you to this hangout that we have on a weekly basis. And a reminder to everyone, hey, we stream the show live, twitch.tv/Fluxtaposed. If you ever want to say, you know what, I've listened to these guys in audio format only. They sound like they're a couple of weirdos. I'm going to watch and see how much of a weirdos they actually are. And we're a lot of weirdos. A lot of weirdos.
At least 3.
So thank you for that. Thank you for that. And we'd love to have you join us on Discord, fluxtaposed.com/Discord. It gets you the invite, and you can come hang out with us. We talk. We're on the fitness path. I mean, there's a lot of Smash Brothers talk between me and Tom Servo, but there's some fitness talk going on. And Dan Anthony in the chat says weirdos confirmed. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for the confirmation. Hello, Dan. We love
confirmation confirmed.
But we're all, it's the new year. Lucas he's sans gallbladder, so he's just like eating all the things, drinking all. He's like, I didn't drink beer for like 2 months.
I'm gonna get fat now. And I did.
That's what it feels like. So you can join us on our journey to undo the damage of the past however long and healthify your life,
It's true.
Or listen to Kevin Austin talk about G Fuel. I mean, there's that.
That is always every time they talk about G Fuel, I post the exact same GIF, and it's what's
Dave Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle doing the crackhead thing.
I just turned my brain off. I just stopped.
You have to.
Hey, you know what we haven't had in a long time is a Caro poop conversation. We
that
have not
is
talked
true.
About BM. We haven't had a good BM conversation in a long time in the Fluxtaposed Discord.
Does that mean we haven't had a good BM in a long time? Because I would share with you if I had a good one. Guys, you never will believe what just happened to me. I just came out of the bathroom and I feel a lot better.
I read 3 chapters.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, I don't know. And the last little bit of PSA we had to get out of the way. We are shooting the Fluxtaposed AMA January 26th, the last Saturday of the month. So you've got that time to get your questioneronies into the thingamajigger.
Mm-hmm.
So please send us an email at fluxtaposedama@gmail.com. Nothing is taboo. Nothing is sacred unless you really want to know my penis size, and I guarantee you it's not going to be impressive. So, I mean, there's that. So you've got a lot of
Who doesn't
here.
know your penis size at this point? I mean, honestly, after those...
My wife.
Your what? My wife. I'm sorry. Damn you, Borat from 2006? Probably.
It just happens. It just happens. So why don't we just roll the show down the road as we like to? We always start with little IRL, a little chance for you to get caught up with Lucas and myself. What's been going on in our lives? Probably the mundane details you don't really care about.
Mundoon.
Mundoon.
I'm gonna name my next Dungeons and Dragons character Mundoon, the magical.
It's a offshoot of it's if doubloons were in a cryptocurrency, it would be called that, a Mundoon.
That's our that's our cryptocurrency.
Or what's that new adventure game? It's a sequel, but it's where you're on that ghost ship and it's all like ASCII graphics, like the mystery of the Lorna Doone or something like that.
So you're saying it's a ship that's gonna go out to set sail and then come back with nobody on it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like those options.
I mean, that's how you do something stupid and then try to save it by just ultimately doing something that's even more stupid, just much more extrapolated.
I will say your improvisational skills are improving tenfold. By this time next year, you'll be hitting your microphone. Who just hit somebody struck the gong?
Who did that?
I told you not to touch that gong.
Here's my clear focus. I've really making a conscious effort. I will just say this on the air. I'm making a conscious effort to cut out the ums and the is and the ahs. Really trying to cut back on that.
I've noticed that. Like,
oh really?
Pretty good. I need to cut out like. Let's not go down that road, but I definitely like is a bad one for me.
Well, we knew my other ones were offerings, and what was the other thing I used to say all the time?
It was just spit everywhere.
I can't think of it, but offerings was a bad one. But that was on Battle of the Beer, which, let's just say that out of the way. It's very depressing when I get on Facebook or everything. It's like, people haven't heard from you in a while. You have 10 new views on Battle of the Beer. And it's like, that's funny because when we made videos, we didn't get 10 new views.
That's for damn sure. Wow.
And then people be like, oh, are you guys all done? I was like, yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Why didn't you tell us that when we were making it? You joik.
Yeah.
You bunch of joiks.
Let's face it. It could continue if we didn't want to have a release schedule and we wanted to give you like 2 weeks to chance to edit an episode, because that's how much time with everything else going on in your life you would need. And then let's face it, baby number 2 comes on the way. That's probably not even gonna.
Oh, that's my internet. What the?
Probably.
That's my internet dropping out, apparently.
You should probably get a new Ethernet cable up in there.
I don't
fix that one.
I think it actually might be our router because of the wireless drop. The wireless drops out randomly, and I never had a problem with the wired, but here we are. Here we are with 1.7% frames dropped. So,
well, at least the frames dropped because of the internet connection, not because your setup.
Yep. Now the freaking sync is all, man, you're out of sync a little bit. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. This is why you need to donate more on Patreon.
I mean, I could
need to buy new everything
and rejoin it real quick, but that's probably not worth it. It really probably isn't.
Well, Donnie Reese is always out of sync, and nobody seems to mind on Shack Attack.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, let's face it. Nobody watches the video anyway. They're only going to get the audio product, which I don't blame them because I don't watch a lot of podcasts on video anyway. So we will press forward. Lucas, what has been going on in your life?
Oh,
like, oh my God, tell me about it. I need to know.
Okay, I'll tell you about it.
Ready.
Oh, well, first of all,
I don't know what that was. I'm sorry.
It was magic, is what it was. It was those improvisational skills.
I think I got like a vein like popping out somewhere in my temple.
You look like one of those anime characters when they get upset, and it's like, boop, boop. You got a little vein popping out. I did this a while ago, but I didn't have a chance to mention it because I wasn't sure when it went live. So, my film buddy, our buddy, who's worked with us and for us and on us for a while.
Don't just throw me into any little party boat here. I mean, you're being very liberal with terms here, and I don't know if my affiliation should be considered. Under these circumstances. This
man who has no affiliation with you whatsoever. I don't even know if you've ever seen him before.
That's more appropriate.
His name is Michael McDonald, not the singer.
Oh,
sorry. He has a little thing called True Myth Media that changes its function each year. It started out as.
I was going to make a joke. I'm like, hey, weren't you? And then you did it
Yeah,
for me. So
we did wedding
okay.
videos. We did wedding videos. We did wedding videos,
You did wedding videos. Eh?
and then suddenly it's a review website for movie reviews. That's a thing people
They
do.
watch a lot of movies.
You do?
No, they do.
Oh, they do. Yes. I would never keep up with their movie watching schedule.
I'm like 1 or 2 a week. They're like 1 or 2 a day.
I go in spurts. I've talked about this before. Lately,
I'm jealous, really. That's why I say the things I do.
well, you should be jealous. I mean, I watched a lot of movies this week in attempts to see what that's like, and I kind of just felt like it. But I didn't get a lot of gaming done, so it's a balance. It's a balance, is what it is. So what I did, he asked me if I wanted to write reviews, and I figured, you know what? Why not? I like writing. I like watching movies. Put them together. Anyone can be a critic. Doesn't take any specialization.
Weren't you writing reviews for PSVG at one point in time?
Watching a 2-hour movie and playing a 10-hour game are completely different.
Yeah.
Also,
I get it. Yeah.
Also, I don't have to buy these movies. I can just.
And you're
You're like, I went to film school, so I'm using my degree. I'm adequately suited for this type of conversation.
Now, see, here's the thing. TrueMythMedia.com, that's the website. www. That's on the World Wide Web.
We're just throwing out shameless
Sorry,
plugs
is that
on
okay?
here?
Can I plug my... Sorry, I already did it, but is that okay? Sorry if we can't
now
plug
we have to make
ourselves.
35 Patreon plugs between now and end of show. Go.
Don't we do that in...
Oh,
Oh, God, he's in the chat. I have to go. I have to... Get out of here, you dog, you scallywag. So,
Excellent timing, sir.
my ears are burning. Somebody's talking about my website. Better see what these assholes are saying about me. So, anyways, True Myth Media, you can either look at movie reviews or you can have your wedding shot there, one or the other. And I did a review for Beyond the Black Rainbow, which is a movie that I watched after Mandy.
Yeah.
And I think I just didn't talk about it on here because I was going to say that I wrote the review. I talked about Mandy, but I don't think I talked about this.
I think you skimmed about it a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah.
So my full review and thoughts are on the website. Just go on there. It's in the it's very easy to search on their website. You just go and type in the name of the movie, and as long as you know what you're looking for, you'll find it. Or you can go in the recent reviews and just scroll through, because apparently it released in like December 16th or something. I just wasn't paying attention. So
Wait, no way.
yeah. So that's that. That's go check it out. I'm writing more as well, is my whole point of this. I will be writing more reviews. And I just had an idea, actually. We should try and make it so that the written reviews, you can look at them by author. Click on an author's name, and then you can just see all the stuff I reviewed. Because there's going to be a lot of stuff on here that nobody's seen, like the stuff I'm about to talk about in my Whatchuplayin. But hopefully my voice comes through and my hilarious comedy sensibilities get out on the page for y'all to read. So if you want a sense of what that's going to be like, just go check out Beyond the Black Rainbow on the TrueMythMedia.com website.
Remember
today.
we were going to have written content on our website, and then we were like, this sucks.
No. Okay. Mr. Michael McDonald left a very helpful tip. It's www.truemythmedia.com/true-media myth-media /reviews/beyond-the black rainbow --RQ equals black %20 rainbow. It's so easy to type that into your web browser.
Can do it.
Yes, we were going. Yeah, anyone can do. Your parents help you set it up. So just go there and look at my review. Make fun of me if you want. And we were going to write things for our website, and then we realized we cover all the topics, and that makes it very hard to write.
We cover all the topics, but we're not topical on any one of those topics.
That's true. We're always last to the party, which was my idea for another podcast called Last to the Party, where we talk about things that are at least 5 years old that we're just now getting to.
Are you still going to do the PC podcast? Is that still going to be a thing? Or is that just jokes?
Maybe it's kind of both. I keep showing up in the Steam
It's just the
Discord and
meme,
going,
huh?
"Hey guys, how about that podcast?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, podcast." And then I'm like, "Okay, I don't know if everyone's being serious or not." So the other thing I want to talk about before we continue further down the road of ridiculousness, Jason, I went to
Yeah.
Meijer. I went to
Ooh.
Meijer. It's a local. I think we talked about it before. It's a local
It's a
supermarket. Regional?
It's
Regional?
quasi-regional,
Yeah.
mostly to this. I think it's. I don't even know how far out
It's
of
like
state
5
it goes. It's not
states,
too
isn't
far.
it?
Here's the
3?
weird thing: there's Meyer, and then how many other areas have Fred Meyer? As a store.
I don't even know what you're talking
But it's
about.
like I think it's spelled differently.
Oh. I see. Well, anyways, I went to just think of it's a supermarket. You can buy anything you want there. And if
Yeah.
you can't, then you get it on Amazon like a normal person. So I'm there and I'm buying some stuff. I had to return a toy. It was a Cars 3 toy, and the it's one of those launcher things. You press the launcher and it zooms the cars. Well, the Cars 3.
Zoom.
And the launcher was broken on the thing. And apparently that's a very common problem with this particular model of this toy, because I went on Amazon and a lot of people were saying it was broken out of the box. And a lot of people were saying theirs broke within a day or two of use. So I said, all right, I'm taking this piece of garbage back. So I take it back to Meijer. I had a little bit of shopping to do. So I grabbed my stuff and I'm checking out. Now this whole time I'm listening to my headphones. I'm getting caught up on my podcasts, as you do, because God forbid I have to spend 1 second outside of my headphones, because I hate everybody at
That's right.
Meijer and I don't want to hear their stupid BS.
You don't like your family. You don't like people. You
That's
don't
right.
like anything.
I'm either always on my phone or I always have my headphones in. That's just how it is. That's what you get with me. So I'm standing there at the checkout, the self-checkout, of course, because Meijer has turned into Walmart as far as their ability to get you in and out of there quickly. I swear, every time I go there, no matter how many lanes are open, it's like 4 people deep at every single one. So I'm checking out, and I'm at the very front of the checkout towards like where you go to leave. So kind of front of the store, not the back. This is important because so I'm sitting there with my headphones in, and I'm just about ready to pay or scan my last item, or I had returned pop bottles, so I was putting in the coupons.
So you're at a self
checkout. So I'm putting the coupons in after I scan them for the pop bottle return, and all of a sudden I see out of the corner of my eye this guy goes running by, and he knocks over a trash can. Two weird things there, running in a Meijer, not quite unheard of. You never know what weird, stupid thing people are doing. And then, some knocking over a trash can. What did that trash can ever do to you? You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand. So I look up and I'm looking around. I'm just like, what the hell's going on? Then I see 2 police officers running by me. I am like, oh shit, maybe I should take my headphones off and so that I don't die. So this guy was running away from the police. I don't know if he stole something or if he entered the Meijer hoping to elude the police. I'm assuming, because I don't know why the police would be there already unless they were chasing this guy or something. I don't know.
Right.
So the suspect ran literally right by me, almost close enough to touch me, and ran towards the back of the store, hoping he could leave that way somehow, I guess. I don't know. So he ended up running out the front, which was kind of funny because you see, by that point, there were like 4 police officers who run by me, go towards the back of the store. Then you see him come back out the front, out the front exit. 4 police officers are chasing him. Eventually, they get him because they were like, "Where'd he go? Where'd he go?" And everyone's like, "Oh, he ran out the front door." And this whole time, I like completely forgot what I was doing. Because the stupid thing was asking me to put the coupon in the actual machine, because you have to, like I said, you have to give it to them, so you can't just reuse the bottle coupons. And I'm like, did I give all my coupons or did I lose one? Because I got completely flummoxed by the proceedings that were happening.
Yeah.
So I got that all figured out, and so I walk outside. Sure enough, they caught him. I don't know what he did, but the police got him, nabbed him. They had his sweatshirt out on they were looking for whatever he had in his pockets and such, and So I mean, I don't know, man. I could have been a hostage if I wasn't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Just grab me all of a sudden. Look at this idiot with his headphones in. So my life was in danger, is what I'm saying.
Would you say he was a bad dude?
He was a rude dude. No, actually, I don't think. Well, I can't speak on his personality or his I don't know, his manners, I guess. But yeah, so I saw. What do you think about that? You're very stoic right now.
I would say
He was screaming, "That's my backpack" the whole time. No, that never happened.
we had a couple things like that where we had loss prevention chasing people, or people are stealing from the store, but I've never seen like actually law enforcement involved.
That's what confused me because I thought that's what it was because he was wearing all black and I thought it was loss prevention, and then I realized, oh, that's a police officer.
Which location were you at?
Clyde Park, over by me.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So
yeah.
I guess it's been called the Ghetto Mire, but
No, the Kettle Myers would be on 28th Street.
yeah, I was gonna say, but I'm pretty sure that one's over by 28th and Kalamazoo. So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I go there all the time, and this is the first time I've seen anybody get arrested. So
Nothing beats the Duttler. So I
the
mean,
Dut, gotta love the Dut. We'll have to talk about the Dut some other time.
yeah,
It's a good time.
that's a legend.
I'm sure we had to have said that.
We've talked the backpack story. I'm
Okay.
fairly positive that's been told.
I hope so.
Fairly positive.
I hope so. That needs to be the legend of the backpack needs to be spread.
Yeah, I agree. As for myself, Lucas, you might have heard of this show because it's a very. I'm guessing it's popular on Netflix now. People are talking about it, and it's called "Tidying Up" with Marie Kondo.
I literally just watched that for the first time tonight.
So that, like, Jess was familiar with her and I think she had read her book years ago. So I don't think we ever put anything into practice, but she has this whole system about, and if you watch the show on Netflix, you can tell it's like borderline hoarding levels of junk people have.
Yeah, I watched only the first episode, and that one didn't seem too bad. But my wife said it was pretty bad.
Yeah, the second episode's a little bit worse. And just clutter. People have junk everywhere. But and on beyond of that, I think you'll find that people are really taking to as her folding system.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask you because I just did that earlier tonight. I was like, "Oh, take care of some clothes. I better make it as small as possible."
Yeah, she has this very unique folding system, which really, like, for instance, my T-shirt drawers. Like, I have a ton of dress socks. I have a ton of boxers because that's what I get like as Christmas gift every year. I get underwear and
because
socks.
you stain both of them so often.
Yeah. So I have a ton of those. So I literally, on one side of my dresser, I had 3 drawers, and I had underwear in one drawer, socks in another, and then the overflow of both in a third drawer. Well, now I'm able to
3 drawers of those things is too many drawers.
So now with the new folding system, well, plus I got rid of a bunch of old stuff, but I was able to, down to 1 drawer of each.
Nice.
And on the other side, I had the T-shirts, like the top tier T-shirts. Then the second drawer you had like mid to low tier.
They're like wearing around at home.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not leaving them outside of this. And then the bottom was like jeans. And then all my T-shirts now are in 1 drawer. Again, I got rid of some stuff too. And that's the main thing. It's like you have to go, her whole thing. I've been gone like in depth, like how she, instructs about sparking joy and keeping items that only give you joy. And
you didn't thank every item for its service.
No, I didn't do that. But so mainly with the bedroom, we were like consolidating, liquidating, reorganizing on that. And I'm giving the baby monitor here because my wife is going to the store. So now I have the baby.
Oh my God. She gave you the power.
Gave me the power. So, but however, where we made the hugest impact, we're like, we need to do something with the kitchen. And so like her method is you take everything
the kimono.
out. You take everything out and pile it. So then you just see how much junk you have, So
I've always said you have to make a mess to clean a mess.
Right. So we went through and like there's so many things we had still. It's like, well, it was a wedding gift. We've never used it, but it was a wedding gift. Your mom gave it to us, so we should probably keep it. And then finally we're like, no. Like we got this monogrammed, serving tray with the cheese knife that's all fancy. It's still in the wrapper, and it's like
We don't eat cheese in this house.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
lactose intolerant.
first of all, it's like when have you known me to like? Well, we hosted a party, we had people over, and we served a meal.
I was just gonna say, you know what's great? Never. First of all, to answer your question. Second of all, every knife in my house is a cheese knife because I'm pretty sure there isn't a knife in my house that I haven't used to
I don't
cut
usually
the
I
cheese
don't typically cut my cheese. I just grab it in a giant chunk and
block.
eat it. So
Oh, excuse me. Does
literally,
this
we
cheese
got
come in
rid of
blocks?
so much junk, like we had a rice steamer that we've never used.
Yeah.
That's gone. You know, all this random weird appliances. We got rid of a bunch of our old dishes, old glasses. You know, I got rid of I had all those random beer mugs from like Founders Black Party, Founders Harvest Fest.
That's
You know, all
that's
that,
the tough one, especially when
yeah.
you do the pub style glasses, the like regular
Yeah.
pint. It's like everything comes printed on those, so
Yeah,
you just
well,
get a weird collection of.
yeah. I kept my mug club mugs, and I got rid of all those. You know, so and we had already gotten
Nice.
rid of a bunch of our coffee mugs. So literally, we just cleared out so much stuff. We did our pantry tonight, so like literally we've gained probably half of our space back in our kitchen. Like, not that we had a lot of stuff piled anyway, but now like our countertops
Right.
are pretty clean because now everything has a place.
No, you
and
got to
it's
buy
just
more stuff for all that space.
yeah, right. And it's like, well, now I just got to get more. I got to fill it back up. We're Americans. We're consumers.
Pretty sure that Ninja Company makes a processor for every type of food you could possibly need to process. So you better buy.
Well,
those.
I already have a food processor, and we already have
You're set.
a
That's the
Ninja,
problem.
So, I mean,
There are very useful gadgets as long as it does more than
it
one thing.
takes
I'm
so
okay
much
with it.
Space.
Space,
Store all
yes.
this stuff.
We have the
like we have.
The Instant Pot's
Yeah,
great,
guess
but
what?
it's huge. Huge.
Well, we have the Aldi Instapot. We have that. We have a food processor. We have our NutriBullet, which has a series of different attachments. And then we got the coffee machine.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, but I don't know if I would recommend the show to everyone because it's like, I don't know, everyone would like it. But the principles are very good. And you do feel like you just feel so much better. Not that we had junk or clutter, but just, whenever you get rid of a bunch of junk, you just feel, I don't know, there's like a weight. You just feel good,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've talked about this before. Like I'm not a collector. I have no desire to collect things, or I used to have to, once you feel like you're poor, you don't that desire to have to buy things kind of just goes away, and then you just don't care.
Then you
You
just
know?
realize you'll never afford anything.
I guess I can't say I'm poor, but once you're on a budget,
Yes.
it's like people are sharing, posts about these new games. And it's like, I just spent my game. I was like, I don't know how many times I have to tell people, I just spent my gaming budget on my car. I'm actually seriously going to try not to buy any games for as long as possible in 2019.
Wow.
So I just don't need
What
to,
the hell are you
don't-
going to talk about for 6
I don't want
months?
to buy. I'm going to play Smash Bros forever.
That's
God.
God.
I mean, I just don't want to. I don't have the desire. I don't have to buy things. I don't use that that's not a coping mechanism in my life, and that's not. I don't do retail therapy.
What are you trying to say? Now you're saying because I buy things, I'm coping. I'm being the other side of the coin.
You're
for
being
you.
that side. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I
maybe
am.
you are trying to find something to fill that hole in the void in your life, and you're just gonna shove everything from your childhood in that hole and hope something fits. Okay. Not you. I'm just talking to people in the audience.
Are we talking about like a really bad softcore or like?
I
this
think it sounds like a
concept
really
here?
good softcore. Oh yeah.
Can we put Julie Strain in it?
I don't see why not.
Okay, cool.
I mean, we've
Alright.
got
I mean,
like
she's old. She probably won't. Probably get
I
at a
was gonna say,
reasonable.
we got a few bucks in the Patreon, and she's old, so 1 + 1 = 2. What do you want? Simple math.
So can we call this episode like Heavy Metal 3, or let's be Heavy Metal 2019? Because what was the last one? Heavy Metal 2000? Was that? What
I
was
think
the
so.
last-
Yeah.
The sequel. Yeah.
I like it.
Oh God,
I
I
like
hate
it a
myself
lot.
so much right now. Well, guys, as you might have heard in the intro, we've kind of a little slightly different show because we did finally take the moment to actually go through. Okay, let's look at the podcast schedule and see what we're at, what's going on. I finally actually took the time to plan out that content, and then I was just too lazy to do anything for tonight. I was just like,
Well,
do you want to talk about something?
We got to meet up too, and we're gonna figure out what the plan is exactly.
Which really just gives us an excuse to hang out and get drunk.
That too. Oh yeah, we're gonna live stream it because we can't not do something without live streaming it.
But you gotta pay a subscription. You gotta subscribe to get in.
That's right.
$2.
That's right. And then it's gonna turn into a weird cam show. So if you tip us, we'll start doing things.
Get one step closer to that calendar goal.
Yeah. That's That's what I'm saying.
So next week we will have a discussion episode, which will probably be another edition of the games that made us, that I know everyone just loves so much. You're also fond of. I mean, you guys break down my email doors with feedback and how much you love the games that made us. Oh, Dan's got his tokens out. He knows what's up.
He's like, I've been waiting for this day. I don't know. I don't know what Dan sounds like, but apparently that.
He sounds like that.
For this day.
So we were just going to jump right into a little bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
What you plan? You know, how cheated would you feel if that sound bit did not have
The
that
ding
little-
ding.
Yeah.
It would be like what do they call it? Edging or whatever, where you masturbate until you feel the and then you stop. That's exactly what it would be
That's
like.
called edging?
I think it's edging. I don't remember. Let me see.
You know what? I thought it was called foreplay.
Oh. I got a
Edging?
headache.
I've never. What was it?
Edging.
Think about that.
I'm gonna ask the old internets.
That scene of talking about. There's something about Mary. You got to clean the pipes first before you go on the date.
Ugh, gross. But yes.
Oop, 500 tokens.
Now you got. Yes, it is edging. Okay. Ooh, let's see. First hit. My husband has started edging, and these lengthy sessions are, and that's where it cuts off.
That's when you got to hit
Yeah,
the paywall.
I need to click on. I'm gonna save that bookmark. for later.
Traders hate him.
God. These 5 tips: never eat bananas. This is why. These foods are killing you.
Well, we each have a plethora of stupid things to talk about. Who wants to do that first?
Ooh, I know. Let's make it really bad and just go 1 for 1 back and forth. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
God.
I don't care. I'll go. I'll do it.
Okay.
I don't even care. You want to talk about Pokemon?
I don't want to talk Pokemon, but I will let
That's
you.
good. That was good.
Pikadani.
I played Pokemon. Pokemon's Let's Go Pikadani. I called my my Pikachu. Here's what's funny. They only ask you if you want to name your first Pokemon outright, and then they never ask you if you want to name the rest of them when you catch them. You have to go in like 8 menus and say, yeah, I want to rename this one, which is really annoying if you actually want to go through the trouble of renaming them. I did not, except for my first one, and I called him Pikadani because Donnie likes Pokemon, and that's pretty much it, I guess. And he's like the only one I ever see talking about Pokemon, so I've named him Pikadani, which is weird because
had you played any of the older games?
just blue. I had blue. So I would be familiar with this because it's a remake of Red and Blue. So this is, at least here I would know the original.
Well, technically it's a remake of
150.
Yellow.
Oh, don't even start with me. Don't even start with me.
Yeah, fun fact, I had this game on hold from the library too, and I got right before vacation or during vacation. I was like, here, your hold's in. I was like, cancel hold.
I'm never going to fucking play
I was like, I'm never going to play it. Let's be honest. I'm never going to set aside the time to actually give the game a fair shot. I have no desire to.
Well,
I just can't do it.
I have given the game a fair shot, Jason. And I will say this. It's kind of boring. It's the interesting part lies when you start actually collecting Pokemon and figuring out what you want your party to be. But there's no real thing driving me to do it other than to just finish the game. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much of a story, at least not yet. And the whole point is you're supposed to collect 150 and complete your Pokedex. But along the way, you don't have any random encounters anymore, which is great. I hated those anyways, especially in this game. Because Pokemon, I don't know, I just never seen to make any sense to me that they would just randomly start fighting you. So that's kind of nice, but then you have the old way where they had the Pokemon trainers and all the people would stand around still. I don't know if you remember, but like you try to walk past them and they'd be like,
when you go to
"Hey!"
when you go to a gym.
Yeah, well, not just gyms, anywhere, any of the routes. And the further down you go, the more like
No, I don't
they'll
remember.
make it so you can't walk through without encountering half of the people that are standing there. They're just waiting for you, and that's the only time you really battle besides the gyms, and that's fine and everything. But it gets kind of old when you've got like 5 of these in a row, and you're just like, oh my gosh! And they all only have one Pokemon, so there's really no challenge when you've already got a team of 6. You're just like, all right, let's just get this over with. So, yeah, really the only thing that's worth doing is the collecting and leveling up, obviously. But once you get past level 15, it starts to take a little while. And I have no desire to collect any of the Pokemon that I already have. Like, I'm not going to sit there and just keep catching Pidgeys or whatever for 5 hours. No, I just want one of each and then I'm done. So then I find myself like, oh, let's go. You know, I'm done in this region because I've collected the 5 or 6 Pokemon that are here and off I go. So I really just feel like I'm kind of trying to just get to the end. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And can I just say the controls are awful, because if you're just playing handheld with the Switch, that's fine. Then everything controls fairly normal or what you would expect. You can't use a Pro controller. Not allowed. You have to use, if you dock this thing, you have to either use the Pokeball that they sell separately, very conveniently, by the way, or you have to use one of the Joy-Cons singularly. Just one of them, vertically.
Well,
Like
that frees you up to edge with the other hand.
That is true. That is, I didn't think about that, because, you know, you get that Eevee or whatever, and you're just like, oh, yes, I'm really good. I am not that person, though, so that doesn't help me.
I've heard there's people out there that might be into that sort of thing.
Right. And this is a safe space, so if you are, congratulations. However, having your thumbstick and your buttons be like on this little tiny remote, it feels like I'm playing like an Amazon Fire game or something on my remote control. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel right to use the thumbstick and then also still, while trying to hold this thing, try to press the buttons and then go back to the thumbstick. I don't know. I just like to rest my fingers wherever I'm using them the most. So on a controller, that's the thumbsticks.
Yeah.
But, you know, so like if you're using a controller like this, you would just have them like this, and then it doesn't feel so weird if you're moving with your left hand and then pressing buttons with your right. But when it's all on the same thing, you're kind of going back and forth. And it's even easier on this Xbox One controller because it's curved so that you can hold it. Whereas the Joy-Con is kind of shitty when you're just holding one of them.
Do you remember the original PlayStation had a RPG controller that was one-handed?
No.
Yes. So let me
Oh my.
I don't think it was ever. I could have swore they had an official. I thought there was an official controller, but if you Google search it, it comes up as the ASCII grip.
Oh God, is it? It
But-
literally does look like a remote for like a projector or something.
Yeah, so you had a D-pad in the middle, and it's got a series of buttons horseshoed around the D-pad and below.
Oh,
it.
that's
so
awful.
literally, so you could just play with one hand for RPGs and stuff, because you typically, you know, movement, menu navigation, and then so you could masturbate to, you know, the
Tifa?
anime girls, I guess.
I mean, what?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Obviously, I mean we all did that. I meant I meant Second Detsetsu or whatever, the ones we never heard of.
Beyblades. So,
Babe
so
Blades.
you know, there you go. I not that I'm relishing the fact that you dislike Pokemon, because
I'll probably still play the rest of it.
I don't know. I just can't.
There's not much there. When I was 12, that was enough in 2002 or whatever. But I wasn't 12 in 2002.
It just doesn't seem like it's like in this one especially, but it doesn't seem like it's a deep. There's not even like deep systems there.
No,
You know,
not really.
it's like, oh, find out which attack's effective. Okay, now just repeat it until they're dead.
basically.
I don't.
It's
I don't
rock,
know. Not
paper,
that I,
scissors.
yeah, not that I play a lot of RPGs anymore. Anyway, but I mean, unless like I feel like you have to have that desire to want to like you either have a lot of nostalgia for the original game or just are a Pokemon fan, or you have that you want to collect that Pokedex. Like I don't think you really care if you have a full or empty Pokedex.
Not really. No. I mean, I could stop playing this game at any time, and I probably will to give more time to back to Octopath Traveler. I gave that to the library for like 2 days, and they were like, "Your hold's ready." Oh, okay, cool. I don't know why you didn't just redo the
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I expected, but I was kind of hoping the nostalgia would catch on. And there's other things about this game too.
Do you think that because this has come in, people have kind of, come down on this game a little bit because it's like a half step, Pokemon game, I think, and how it's playing into the whole Let's Go stuff. But do you think when there's a full fledged like Pokemon RPG on the Switch, do you think that'll be more interesting to you?
Well,
because some people have seen this one's more like a little more dumbed down, a little more, kid friendly.
Maybe that is true. And that kind of speaks into the other problems I have with it, in that they didn't really do any animations and stuff. There's movie cutscenes that look pretty good, but there's no battle animations. It still pretty much does what it did in the original versions. It just looks a little better. So yeah, Pikachu will like run a little bit, but they don't actually like battle each other. And a lot of the times, for instance, there's one called Tail Whip, which you would think was an attack, but it's just something that lowers their defenses or something. And they turn around and they wag their tail, but it's not even like they wag their tail. They just hop back and forth like this a little bit. It's like the shittiest looking animation I've ever seen. But then they'll have cutscenes that look good. So I don't understand why they decided to make it look like shit when they probably could have taken time to make it look a little bit better. So the presentation is not even that great either, unfortunately. So I think, like you said, if they do make a full-fledged game and they actually take the time to make everything look nice, then, all those things combined might pique my interest. But right now, I just kind of feel like this is a cash in a little bit. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I don't know. So continuing on, I consumed a lot of other content besides video games. So I'm going to try to do the quick hits of these. Starting with Creed. I hadn't watched Creed yet, and I know Creed 2 came out recently, but I kept being told that it was pretty good, and I've always liked the Rocky movies, so I figured, I should finally get around to watching this, and I did. And I liked Creed a lot. It's actually a good boxing movie, and it's a good tribute to Rocky without only kind of redoing Rocky. You know what I mean? Like without just taking Rocky's formula and redoing it and calling it Creed and then calling it a day. They actually do a good job of breaking out of that and making it a little bit more interesting and a little more interesting for present day, I guess.
Yeah, I really like that movie. We watched that. I don't remember how long ago now, but both Jessica and myself both like that.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I gave that one.
Looking forward to the second one.
What's that?
You looking forward to the second one that's out right now?
Yeah, they kind of filmed it in a way that it left it at that. If they never made a second one, so I don't know what the second one is about at all.
He's gonna fight Dolph Lundgren's kid.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Dolph's in it, and so what the heck is his what is his name from oh gosh, my movie knowledge is failing me. I
Mr.
can't even
T?
remember.
Hulk Hogan.
Yes, he plays Mr. T.
Are you talking from the Rocky movies?
Yeah, from Rocky 3.
Isn't it just Dolph Lundgren?
That's the actor. That's the actor's name.
Oh,
I must break you.
I will break you. I must break you.
Ivan Drago. I remembered it.
There you go, Drago. Even
So,
before
Drago's kid.
Dan told you the answer.
Oh, excuse me. Rocky 3 is when he fights Mr. T. Rocky 4
See, I said Mr. Two.
Drago.
Well, isn't Rocky 5 when he like starts street fighting? He street
Don't
fights
know.
some American guy named Billy, probably.
Which
I
one
don't
does he
remember.
fight Johnny Five?
It should be 5. Number 5. I think there's 6 of them altogether.
Johnny
or
Five,
7.
you're alive, Johnny Five.
All right. I gave Creed a 4 out of 5.
Okay, good job, Adam Sessler.
A 4 out of 5. John Wick. I've seen this movie, but I wanted to see Chapter 2, and it'd been a while, so I watched John Wick and I grabbed John Wick and John Wick 2 from the library and rewatched the first one. I plan on rewatching the second one probably tomorrow or something. I don't freaking know. Who cares? But I watched John Wick, and it's good. It's good. It's good
He shoots
action
a lot
movie
of-
with the gun
A
fool.
lot of people.
He does. He also drives. There's a segment where he drives a car and shoots people, which I always thought would make a really cool VR game if you used the hand controllers to like drive with one hand and then shoot with the other hand. I always thought that would be a really cool VR game. But I don't make
So,
games, so
Instead of like Link's crossbow training, you could have John Wick's pistol training.
yes, but you're always you're either driving in a car, riding a horse, what are other on a jet ski, or piloting a helicopter. Those are your options. Those are the 4 levels because there's always 4 levels. John Wick is good. I forgot how good. It's a nice action movie that also kind of has sort of an exaggerated world with like the assassin underground and all that, and the
Yeah.
hotel and the rules and all that stuff.
Tokyo Hotel.
Tokyo Drift Hotel. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked watching it again, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. Then I watched Coco, but I watched this one in 4K.
Remember me.
Yes, exactly. You got it. This one I watched in 4K because I had read somewhere that the
Colors, Duke.
the colors and the bridge scene with all the leaves or the petals.
Oh, yeah.
Was really good. And it was. And what's weird is it didn't strike me at first. I'm guessing it's because the colors were kind of muted at first because, you know, they're in Mexico somewhere. I don't remember. But, you know, you got kind of your sandy sort of desert colored town or whatever with little pops of color here and there. Like I noticed whenever the candles were lit towards the nighttime scenes and they had all the orange in there, that looked really good. But it wasn't until you got to the underworld that and especially with the animals that guide you through death or whatever, your guide animals were very glowy and colorful and they looked cool as well. I thought it was pretty good, but it just didn't quite make it to a 4 for me. Ended up being a 3.5. It's good and it's solidly presented, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just kind of felt like there wasn't much more for me to take from it than my first viewing. You know what I mean?
I mean, I like the story and some of the emotion that's there, but I'm also a really big fan of Dia de los Muertos. So
yeah,
I mean, that's this big selling point for me. Which go
it did
figure.
give me Grim
I
Fandango
love
vibes.
Guacamelee and Grim Fandango.
Those are the
so
2 things I actually
surprise,
made.
surprise,
I
so.
made a comment. I was like, "This game makes me want to play," or "This movie's making me want to play Guacamelee."
I do want to get Guacamelee too at some point. Hell, I should finish Guacamelee at some point also.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So 3.5 on Coco. Then I watched the Belko Experiment. I think I heard Donnie talking about this, and I had also
so.
seen trailers for it. So I was just like, "Oh, this looks like a nice little ridiculous horror movie in the vein of any torture porn movie."
Oh yeah, then it's totally a Donnie movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I watched it, and it wasn't as like gory as I kind of expected it to be, and it also didn't really do a whole lot. It ends up being about this experiment. Obviously, it's kind of a social ethics experiment or whatever. But
That cast though.
meh, whatever. I mean, none of them are like really that.
It's got Kevin's guy though. from Guardians of the Galaxy. Why can't I think of his name?
Oh yeah, he's only in it for like 5 seconds though.
Oh, well, never mind then.
You're talking
Michael Rooker.
Yeah, the guy from The Walking Dead as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he wasn't in it for very long. And it was all right. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, I don't know. It didn't really seem.
Hey, and that's the dude from a bunch of Netflixations too.
The main character.
Hush. Yeah, Hush.
Yeah, I thought he looked familiar.
What else was he in? The other one, Heart Machine. Was that the one we watched?
Oh,
Where his
God.
girlfriend was cheating on him that whole time. Said she was in Berlin or Germany or whatever.
Oh,
But she was
jeez,
really
I
in the
forgot
same,
about
She was
that
in the same
movie.
city as him.
Holy cow! Yes, yes. Hey, man, that must have been. Michael says, actors don't write the movie, Jason. I don't know what that was.
Some might though. I mean, there might be some that are.
I don't want to see that movie, whatever that movie is. Actors don't write movies. Sometimes directors shouldn't write movies either, though, to be fair. I don't know. It just wasn't as deep as I thought it was going to be. It was kind of like, it kind of reminded me of another one of those movies where you think it's a great idea in high school and then you make it and it's just like, oh, okay, it actually doesn't end up being that interesting. Imagine that. When you pressure people to kill each other, they end up killing each other. That's not really a very, poignant statement. So, I don't know. I gave it a 2 out of 5. And then these last 2 movies I really don't want to spend too much time with because they are
Thank you.
They are my stinkery artsy film. Thank you. My foreign film. What I'm kind of trying to figure out a name for, but basically my
Criterion.
the Criterion collection.
Criterion Corp. Sounds like something from like Half-Life.
A little bit. Or Mass Effect. The Criterion Corp.
Or Dead Space.
Oh. Or Alien. I dare you think of another one.
Andromeda.
Oh my God, you thought of another one.
Babylon 5.
Stop the machine.
Farscape.
He's gaining too much momentum. He'll never stop now. It's too late. Basically, my path to gaining some film buff cred, because I've always kind of felt like I have a foot in both thoughts of thinking, ways of thinking, in that I can appreciate a good art film or whatever, but I can also, do the Marvel movies, for instance. Like, I like a good, stupid superhero beat 'em up as well. So it just kind of depends. I mean, I listed my number 5 movie that influenced me as Mortal Kombat on my biography for the website. So, I mean, I can't say I'm too much of a film snob. So
I would like to think your favorite line from all films is, "You know what happens when a toad gets struck by lightning?"
Oh my God, I've never forgot that line. The same thing that happens to everything else. Also, a runner-up from that particular movie and franchise was, "Wow, this is a big round room." Which Wolverine speaks when he walks into the whatever the helmet thing, Cerebro. You're my Cerebro. Yeah. So these two.
I'm your Cerebra.
Exactly. These are 2 hooty snooty foreign films. The first one is called Alphaville, and it is a French movie by Jean-Luc Godard. And he is a very famous French new wave director.
Like the Power Ranger villain?
No, nothing like that. Stop it. I said I didn't want to take too much time, and you're talking about Power Rangers. So Alphaville, I'm going to do a review for the website as well. I'm actually working on it right now. And I'm actually not going to give my score. I don't know why I did that. I should probably take those off there. And the reason why I watched this, I had no real clue. No one's told me to watch this or anything. But for some reason, I think I found it on Netflix DVD while I was doing stuff because I had rated Blade Runner. And this is kind of like a precursor grandfather movie to Blade Runner and some others, 2001 Space Odyssey, some other science fiction films. Now, this was made in 1965. It's in black and white, which they had color movies then. I don't know why it's in black and white. Maybe because the film stock was cheap. I don't know. I should have known, though. I will say that I didn't really care for it too much because I don't like the director's style. It's very what they call cinema verite, where it feels very real and in the moment. It's a very handheld feeling. Um, to me, it almost seems like someone's film school project to a certain degree.
Okay.
So it's hard for me to just be like, oh yeah, he's a grandfather of cinema. He's, you know, this and that and so great and all this stuff. I don't know. I just don't care for it. So take that for what you will. Other people like Jean-Luc Godard, not to be confused with Picard. And I just couldn't get my brains wrapped around this one. It is a science fiction film. Basically, an undercover agent goes to a city called Alphaville. He comes from a different place, and he's posing as a journalist to get close to a machine that controls this city. That's basically what the whole thing revolves around. There's some other stuff that happens. Michael says the film stock was very fast and portable. Color required larger, more expensive cameras. The French New Wave was like everyone getting iPhones for the first time and making movies with them. That's exactly what it feels like. That's a really good analogy. The other movie is a Japanese samurai film called the Samurai Trilogy, and there's 3 movies. The first of which I have watched, called Musashi Miyamoto. And this movie, it makes sense now that I've read it. I read it somewhere else. They said that it was kind of like the Japanese Gone with the Wind for these 3 movies. It's based off of some books that were written. I think this movie is 1953 is when it was filmed. It's in Japanese, obviously. And it's about the famous swordsman Musashi Miyamoto. And
Did
how
he make
he becomes
Mario?
No. That was his brother. So I was expecting a lot of like sword fights, and I don't know. I'm not really sure what I was expecting, but something a little bit more action movie-esque, I guess. And it ends up being more like a samurai romance film. So it's kind of weird in that sense that maybe romance is too strong of a word, but it's definitely more of a drama than it is like an action movie.
Okay.
And so I have the other 2 movies. The funny thing, I say that, but the funny thing is, even though I didn't like it that much, I didn't hate it. And I think that it sets up the other 2 movies to be more interesting, because there's definitely a lot of, you don't want to knock your microphone off from there.
No,
there.
you see my face like.
I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. I don't know. There's a lot of setup here, and I think there's some cultural things that I didn't really get, but overall, it was interesting to watch. So take that for what you will. I'll be writing reviews about this, so I'll probably shout those out when I get them done. And then finally, I read all of the Fables Deluxe Edition 1, which included Legends in Exile and The Road Trip, in which Legends in Exile is basically what the entire first Wolf Among Us was about.
Okay.
They kind of took some liberties and redid the story a little bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Which is fine.
I've read volume 1 of
Okay.
Fable, maybe volume 2 as well. I have both of those.
So then that's both of
So
these.
Yeah.
And then, well, the second one then is, so this is about like fable creatures that live in a place called Fabletown, which is in New York, and they're the ones who can't, who aren't humanoid and can't hide
Go to
their
the farm.
Yeah, hide their appearance. Go to the farm, which
What
is
do they use
what the road
again to
trip is
hide
about.
their appearance? What's
Glamour?
Glamour. That's it.
Glamour, yeah. You can't afford a glamour, which kind of comes up more in Wolf Among Us. They kind of only mention it briefly in the comic. But the first one is about a murder, and the second one is about a revolution, basically.
I mean, if you think about it, it's really cool story
Yeah.
idea. It's just the whole idea that Fables is upon. It's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, it gives them a life outside of the one story, and it's interesting to see them like centuries later after they've lived in a present day world, how it changes them, and like
and who ends up with what job, and
yeah, and well, like Pinocchio is a boy forever, So that means he's been a boy for like centuries, and now he's talking about wanting to get laid and how he's gonna kick the ass of the witch who did this to him, because he didn't mean it literally. He wanted to be real, not a boy forever. So yeah, they're really cool. It kind of gives me feelings of Saga a little bit, with that world of wonder that you kind of just want to get lost in. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading more of Fables, as I can get my hands on them. So
Nice.
So that was my What You Playing. A lot of movies. A lot more movies to come, most likely. So,
Yeah, right.
sorry, I guess. I just apologize. I'm
Instead
sorry.
of thanks,
Sorry,
Obama.
do some
Thanks, McDonald.
Yeah. Michael
Yeah.
McDonald.
So since our show is already kind of thrown out its usual format tonight, we are going to step away right now for an overclocked remix break.
Which is
in the middle of
great,
What You
'cause I gotta
Playing, you
pee.
say? Yes, because that's pretty much the bread and butter of our show tonight.
It's the hand we were dealt with.
You know, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. We might lose every single one of our many, many listeners. We might, this could be the end of the show. Maybe we'll just wake up tomorrow and be like, you know what? I'm done. We're just done.
It's very
Yeah.
possible.
I mean, it could happen.
I'm spinning this wheel. You continue, please.
We're going to go out on our own terms. We're going to go out on our own terms. So, for those unfamiliar, at this time, we always like to feature a random remix from Overclock Remix, ocremix.org, from the front page. And, Lucas randomly picks one with this really cool
Yes.
tool device he has. Please don't tell me it's from Skies of Arcadia.
It is. And it's also from our good friend Rebecca Tripp.
We just played a Skies of Arcadia remix
All right,
last week.
I'm doing it. Well, I just thought it was funny because it was Rebecca. Oh,
I mean,
Rebecca.
Regardless of that, though, I don't like to feature the same game 2 weeks in a row.
That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever.
Which I know it's going to be hard to do because there's like 18 from Skies of Arcadia on the front page because they just released an album. But,
Here you go. Here you go, Mr. Man. You got your way. It's from The Legend of
Good.
Zelda, Wind Waker. It's number
Perfect.
18.
beautiful. Now,
I can't wait to hear you say the name of the thing because it's interesting.
Payarita Bass.
Well,
Or Payarita Paisa. It's probably, I didn't see the other part. So as Lucas has proudly proclaimed, a remix night is from The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. It's called Parito Paisa. It's by Audio Mocha. This is a remix or rearrangement of the Dragon Roost Island song theme, which is a great theme. I like it. I like it a lot. It's jazz. It's Latin. So it's going to be awesome. It's only 3 minutes. And, of course, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was released by Nintendo on the Nintendo GameCube in 2003. It's a great game. If you've never played The Wind Waker, you probably should. Hopefully, we get a port of it from the HD re-release from the Wii U onto the Switch, because that'd be swell. Because the Wind Waker.
I need that to happen. You're talking about you're saying the remake, the HD redo. That would be great because I wanted to play that, and I was gonna go back and play Wind Waker, but it's hard to do when you've seen someone play. Because I watched you play the remake, and I'm just like, damn, that looks good. And then
you
I
would
try
be
to
better off playing it and playing the game on Dolphin emulator.
Which
honestly.
I have started. I did start doing that.
Because you could get the visuals at least equal, but really there's some quality of life improvements on the Wii U version that are pretty top notch. Not only the fast sale, but just like the way being able to. I mean, you can't replicate that on the emulator, but being able to play the game with the gamepad, and you could have your inventory on the gamepad screen, and then select items on the gamepad, and without having to go into a menu, is so much nicer.
See, now you're talking my language. Quality of life. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm ready. Are you ready?
All right. Well, we are gonna play this remix. We'll come back. We'll do my What You Playing. Dan Anthony's in the house. He's been in the chat all night being a trooper, and he got us some really great, as only Dan can, headlines for us to talk about. So those will be coming up as well. So we're going to play this remix, and you can find it and many more at ocremix.org. So we'll be back. Jack.
That was very Latin-y.
I see the chat's talking about tacos. I had tacos tonight.
I
How
was
about
I was saying we listened to. We've been trying to eat at the dinner table more often, so I sometimes I'll just.
we do that.
Well, guess you just got it all figured out, don't you, Mister
my
Dinner
son has to
Table?
sit in a high chair, so I mean,
Is he the man in the high chair?
yeah. I was hoping that Callow would be. I was like, oh, we're playing this song. I saw that. How
The
terrible!
Latin
that?
music
Like,
came
I saw
called
there's
to him.
Latin theme. I was like, oh, Callow's not here, and then Callow's in the chat. I was like, how perfect.
The
How
music.
perfect.
It's called
Callow's
to
there.
him.
Callous there. Before I move forward with my what you playing, I do want to bring up, because we did talk about it on the show a little bit. We're storming forward. We don't have an official name yet, but at the end of the month, we will get that Fluxtaposed radio release. Patrons, I think I'm going to say patrons get it at least a week early. At least a week early,
Yeah.
you guys will get access to it. And our theme, it was voted on, and we have a winner. Our theme for the first episode this month is Random Encounters. So, boss, was that? I can't remember. Was that boss battles or just battle music?
Fight music, but it's got to be
fight
from.
music.
It can't just be like fighting games. It's got to be
From like
RPGs or anything that has random. Hell,
Still it can't
Pokemon.
be what about Streets of Rage? Because you fight random people on the street.
No, you're wrong.
So I can't
It's
have.
not random. Well, I guess you'll just have to add a one called beat 'em ups or something.
Shmups, bumups,
Shmups, butts, and
shmups, butts, and. There's one thing that rhymes with that, and that's the word that we don't feel comfortable saying on this show. That's the word. Okay, that's where we draw the line here, I guess, huh? Okay.
I thought this was America. I'm sorry. I'm right here. What are you gonna do?
All right. So
hold on. I also forgot to say in my IRL that I'm finally getting a new fracking chair. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not to brag, but then I can stop bitching about. Look at this chair. Look at it. It's falling apart.
Yeah, that chair sucks.
It's a piece of shit. It leans to one
Yeah.
side. Can't wait. Can't.
It takes after its owner. It's a piece of shit. Real piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Falling apart.
Yep.
Gets sit on all the time. Wait a minute.
So look forward to that dropping into your inboxes soon. And I did enable it on Patreon, so you'll want to make sure you are, check your email because Patreon sends out those when we do. But I did enable the RSS feed on our Patreon. So if you go log into Patreon, go to our page, there will be your unique RSS link that you want to sub to for those to be delivered to your podcast app of your choice early. Or I guess if you want to be like a peasant and get it with everyone else, then
after everyone's already done talking about it, like I do with video games, there'll also be different art and everything, so you'll know if you get it all at once or whatever that it doesn't look the same as.
We're not going to be some
episodes.
lamos and just have the same artwork for both feeds because we are all about production quality
That's right.
and great podcasting here at fluxtaposed.com.
That's right. Well, and if we ever do
Patreon.com/fluxtaposed.
if we ever do anything else, we have to. That's Patreon specific. We have to release it on there, right? Like we can't have two Patreon specific feeds, is what I'm saying.
I don't think so. I don't think we could have multiple Patreon feeds. So
in the future you didn't want the musical episodes, but you were subscribed for another reason, for some other content,
you just have to skip them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why they're going to look different, so that you, in case you don't want to have to listen to them, you can identify them easily and be like, fuck this shit. I hate music.
Well, or the fact that they'll probably be titled like whatever we call the,
Yes, we do have to figure that out.
That would help. That would help differentiate as well. Okay. Anyway, onto my what you playing. I of course have been playing Smash Bros. My favorite memory from the past week was on, I believe it was Saturday night. Wasn't it Saturday night? Yeah. And then we get a message on Discord from Mr. Tom Servo. Let's do a best of 5 really quick. I'm like, game on. And that best of 5. That best of 5 lasted like 3 hours. We played until I was up until 2:30 my time, and I was really tired.
My God, that's the latest you've stayed up in a long time.
It was, but it was fun. It was worth it.
Well, if you didn't take the time to send each other nudes, it wouldn't have taken so long. But there you were.
Well, that's how you properly
get in their head.
make your opponent. That's how you properly make your opponent feel bad for losing.
By sending him a picture of your boner. That's really weird.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Totally right.
I'm not familiar with all the Smash techniques, but If
That's how
that's
you
one
do
of
it.
them,
If you're gonna burn a
sign me
bush,
up.
you might as well do that. But roll a log. I didn't talk about this on the episode it actually took place, which is the first episode we came back from Christmas vacation. I finally watched Scott Pilgrim after
Yeah, I
like
remember you saying that.
years and years of people like, you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World? Like, no, I never watched it. And then it was on HBO and I didn't watch it. Now it's on Netflix. And so finally I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finally sit down and watch Scott Pilgrim. So I did. And
I hated
first
it.
of all, well, it's like, boy, they really like Zelda.
There
There's
are
a
a lot
ton
of
of like
Zelda
Zelda sound
references.
effects up in there. And I love all the like the video game references and like just how it pulls from that. And I enjoyed the story and it made me want to go and read the comics because I've never read those. I was like, oh, that
Yeah.
sounds kind of cool. I kind of want to read through those, but I know this isn't the case so much anymore. But it's like at that time, I was like, man, Michael Cera is the same guy in every movie. He's like the
Yes.
same character, and for a lot of the movie, it was just like Scott's a little twat bag. I don't really like Scott Pilgrim at all. I didn't. I don't care for him that much.
I don't think I've seen it since it came out, so I don't remember.
Don't you have it on? Don't you have it on physical? Don't you have it on DVD or Blu-ray or something?
I may have it on DVD. I packed all that up when we moved. I never unpacked it, so
Oh wow.
that's probably
Yeah.
why I don't remember.
Okay. So I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. I always like something that can represent gaming or geek culture, but not be so derivative.
Yeah.
Of the work, because you don't really get a whole lot of gaming stuff that's like makes you like proud to say that you're a gamer.
Yeah, I was
too.
gonna say there's a lot that makes you feel like being nerdy is a joke as well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of turned as well, which is nice because
Yeah.
not every nerd is socially inept, for instance, or whatever.
Right. So
I mean,
I really
but-
did enjoy it, and I think Ready Player One's on HBO right now, so I'll probably be one of the next things I finally
Nice.
watch.
That one's just a spectacle to behold. It's
Yeah.
not great, but there's parts of it that I thought were better in the book. But the book was better. But that's a tough one. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? It's literally got everything under the sun in one book. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? And then beyond that, for PSVG, I got a review assignment that I've put off and put off and put off and put off, and finally I was like, okay, I
That's
got
how
to
you
do
do
it.
it.
And that's Nidhogg. I think that's how you pronounce it. Nidhogg 2.
yeah.
And I haven't published the review yet. I think I'm just gonna record some audio for it. But Nidhogg's an interesting game because I remember, I'm familiar with the first one because it was a very simple art style, and you're like essentially fencing. It's a tug of war game where you're trying to kill your opponent, run to the next screen, and eventually make it to the end where you get eaten by this giant worm on the edge of a cliff.
It's the
For
Nidhogg.
whatever, for whatever reason. So Nidhogg 2 is the same thing, but then they went from that simple like 8-bit graphical
Yeah.
style to this more
It almost-
16-bit.
Actually, it almost looked
it's
more like
ugly.
Atari.
Yeah,
The original.
yeah, it's much more simpler. And this is like, I don't know what it is, but like the character design, I think just makes me want to vomit a little bit. They're just like gross looking in a way. It's just like just
I need to
ugly.
see.
I just don't care for it. But the gameplay is still the same. You have three positions. You'll place your if you with the saber, you have 3 positions. You'll put that high, medium, or low. And then you can throw it, or you can roll, or you can jump, and those are all your options, to try to kill your opponent. And then so like the combat is fun. And then I played through. Well, here are my options. I had the basic computer mode where you play through a bunch of levels, and then eventually I got to like broadswords, and then I got to both. But then I was like, I just was bored of playing the computer. I did try to play online. I think this game's
Nobody's
probably
playing.
suffering from exactly nobody's playing. Couldn't find a match, and locals not an option. So. I mean, based on that, I think if you have I think it would be a great party game because the whole concept of you kill your opponent, run to the next screen, they respawn. That whole tug of war that takes place, as I mentioned, that's really fun.
Mhm.
You have this back and forth, and you can have some cool battles and some weird things that take place. But in terms of a single player thing, it's just like, nope. Like so many games. I mean, people in like PSVG be like, oh, or Donnie will talk about how cool this is. I'm like, yeah, local multiplayer isn't an option for me ever. So there's no point in me ever playing this game, And I think that's the thing with Nidhogg. I think local multiplayer, you need to have that to really make it shine. Because otherwise, it's just there's not a lot there, And I think it's a fun game in instances, but long term for me, it just that is what it is.
Gotcha.
And then it was all things we watched. So this was popped up on Netflix. It's a new documentary. It's called Struggle: The Life and Lost Art of Shikulski. And I think maybe I've seen some of his sculptures, or maybe his paintings, but crazy talented. And it's just kind of I don't know if he like never just got the recognition or what, but it just tells us a little bit of the backstory of him and then like what happened and what he did. But very eclectic, which I think most artists are gonna be, and a bit larger life. But essentially, the guy who this documentary focuses on as a kid, he finds this book in a resale shop of this artwork, and it's the Shikulski's guy, and he just becomes enamored with it, and then all of a sudden he like just thinks to look him up in the or someone I can't remember someone mentioned that he lives in the area, so he just look him up in the phone book, and he literally is like he lives like 5 miles from this guy's house, so he like him and his friends like befriend him, and he goes and he over time has all these interviews that he recorded with them, and those are what he used in the documentary, and it's just really interesting to see like what his life was like and the works that he created, because they're pretty. I mean, like it almost reminds me of Geiger. Reminds me of H.R. Geiger a little bit, and some of the like the design, just the creativity, and just the and
some of the
very
drawing,
impressive.
They're very geometric, I guess, to a certain degree.
Yeah,
like a lot of faces have a very skeletal structure to them a lot of the time and stuff.
A lot of his drawings too are dots, are made by
like pointillism or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So really cool. I mean, it's a documentary, so it's it's kind of hard to describe, but I really enjoyed it. And we watched another documentary also prior to that, which is a little more Disneyfied. Quite appropriately, it's called Walt, the Man Behind the Myth. And I think this was one, I don't know if Disney actually produced it or not.
Yeah, I've seen this on there.
Dick Van Dyke is the narrator, and it was interesting to me because I don't know much of the story about Walt Disney, like how he got into animation and what he did to as a business standpoint to build that company and that brand and everything. So that was kind of interesting to learn the backstory behind and everything of. So take that for what it is. Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. We watched a couple more episodes of that. I still don't like with that show. It's like I don't know who the audience is sometimes when I'm watching that. Like I'm not sure the audience that it's supposed to be, because like I watch it and like some of the dialogue between her and Harvey, it's like this corny. I feel like I'm watching this corny like teen melodrama.
Yeah.
But then they get into like this dark. Like there's an orgy scene, or it's like these dark, more macabre subjects, and then it's like okay, and then it's more of adult audience. So I feel like sometimes there's just a discrepancy of like who is this for and who is watching it. I don't know. It's interesting.
I've been thinking about watching it, so I was curious to see.
I think we watched like 6 episodes so far, so I think we're about halfway through it.
I got kind of a Sabrina, what's her name? Vampire Hunter, whatever.
Buffy
the Vampire. Yes, those things.
Yeah, I can
Hunter
see it.
Slayer.
Not nearly as campy as that though. I mean, it's
okay.
Better,
oh, really?
A lot better acted, and I like the storylines a little bit.
Okay.
So
you're saying if I could stand that, then I probably could stand.
Oh yeah, I think you'd be fine.
Okay.
I think you'd be fine.
I have not watched Vampire Slayer, by the way. Buffy.
The highlight, which I didn't expect it to be, like the highlight of what we watched the past week, is what's been on. It's been on Netflix for a while, and that is Steve Martin and Martin Short, An Evening You Will Forget for the Rest of Your Life. And they have a touring show. I don't know if they're still doing that right now, but this is a filmed.
They were here not that long ago, actually.
Yeah, yes, that's correct. And I did not expect to laugh as much as I did, because I'm very familiar with Steve Martin. I'm familiar with Martin Short, but I didn't know how much I really enjoy their comedy. But this was I had a lot of funny moments, and it's really and it's like barely an hour, which is actually I was
it's probably
disappointed.
A good thing. Oh
no, I was disappointed because I was ready for more. Because it is really good. I had a lot of fun with it. A lot of solid material in there. It's really good. It's really good.
I've seen it on there a couple times. Is it would you watch it with your kid around?
No, because there is some cursing in there too, so it's probably not age appropriate at all.
Gotcha.
So
Thank
And,
you.
Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend that, but Jess and I watched it. She laughed a lot. I laughed a lot. It was good. It was really good, and I was not expecting that at all initially. So
Have to add it to the old listicle.
it's right, you do. And now we need to round out the show with the man, the myth, the legend himself, that winner.
Winner, chicken
That winner from
dinner.
last month, Dan Anthony himself, because he's back. He's here. He's given us headlines in this week's community grab bag.
Dateline, NBC. What was the one that used to go zoom, made that horrible noise?
I think that's Dateline.
Was it Dateline? Okay.
Yeah, which should also be like Dateline should be renamed The Husband Did It. I mean, really,
It was the husband
it's always the
after
husband.
all.
So Dan hit us up with a couple offerings this week. Number one, tough to pass on free chicken. Hashtag Q4F. What's the best chicken you've ever eaten, locally and or nationally?
What? Remind me what
And-
that hashtag's for again?
Question for Fluxtaposed,
Oh,
coined by
yeah.
Mr. Nathan Thomas himself, voiced by Nathan.
That
Um,
2 people have in total have used that now.
Yes, exactly. And this came from People Magazine, and they tweeted it. Alabama officials urge drivers to not eat chicken tenders spilled on highway after crash.
But
Oh.
blood makes the best dipping sauce. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, right. So who needs sweet and sour when you got blood? I mean,
Street blood.
isn't that? Shouldn't you not have to be, officially told that?
not
I
to
mean,
eat random food you find on a road of all things.
Public service announcement. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office is asking that no one try to stop to get the chicken tenders that were spilled from the 18-wheeler accident last night on Highway 35. You're
Well, I
creating
wasn't
a
going
traffic
to, but
hazard.
now I'm going to.
Oh,
because you
excuse
told
me. There's an
not to.
exclamation point there. You're creating a traffic hazard. It's a crime to impede the flow of traffic.
What kind? Where were these chicken tenders headed? That's the real question.
I mean, that's the thing. The world may never know.
I'm
I
looking.
mean,
I'm looking at these tenders, and I'm trying to identify 'em.
Chicken fingers went flying on an Alabama highway Saturday evening
5
following
hour
an
road.
18-wheeler car crash. God.
Takes 18 wheels to haul these chicken tenders.
To specifically answer the question, I don't know if I've really eaten that. I don't know if I've ever had really any good local chicken.
Yeah, I mean, nothing that I would write home about. Nothing I would be proud to say that I thought was the best chicken I've ever had.
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
normally order the chicken, quite honestly.
I would say the last one I had that contained waffles and maple syrup on it.
Ooh.
Because chicken and waffles is awesome. Hey, here's the thing I do want to try. It's at the downtown market. They serve it in a waffle cone, macaroni and cheese
Oh my god.
is in the waffle cone, and then they put like chicken tender pieces in there. I think that
Jesus.
sounds amazing.
I mean, macaroni and cheese is okay, but I don't.
Wait, macaroni and cheese is okay?
Yeah. That's just
Okay.
okay. Well, here's your question. Here's the question for you, sir. Macaroni and cheese. Now, are you like one of these people who thinks Kraft is the best thing ever? Like Kraft dinner?
I can't afford Kraft macaroni and cheese. What are you
Sorry.
talking about?
Aldi organic.
Actually, I have Kraft macaroni and cheese because we give
it's
Aiden the little
99
microwave bowls.
cents. Oh yes. Those are kind of weird. Not bad, but I think because there's no butter or milk in them, they kind of taste odd. You know what I mean? Like not as bad as you'd expect, but if you had like the normal package back to back, you'd be like something's weird. So you don't have like a secret recipe that, Auntie Millie gave to you and
No,
Millie Vanilli?
I don't. I had some good.
So yeah, then where does this macaroni is only okay?
I don't know. I think macaroni and cheese is the shit.
So
I
what
love
macaroni and cheese is the shit then?
Doesn't matter. I mean, they're all good.
Oh, see, that's
Honestly.
why I was confused. I'm like, where is this
Yeah.
ultimate
Like when we were
macaroni and
in
cheese?
Detroit, I had buffalo style. So it was macaroni and cheese with Frank's Red Hot.
Oh God, gross.
Blue cheese and yeah, Frank's Red Hot is really actually pretty gross. But I mean, in terms of hot sauce, I will take sriracha or Cholula. But like
Cholula.
Tabasco is bad. Frank's is just.
I mean it's all right. It's a lot of the same. You know what I mean? I don't do well with mashed potatoes are okay. It's kind of the same thing. It's just all mush. There's no texture difference. I don't know. Unless you get the kind where it's baked and there's the crispies on top and the cheese is like a little burnt on top. See, now we're talking.
You gotta have a little bacon in there.
Ooh, okay. Now you're getting my attention. You're adding things to to the equation here.
A little beer cheese.
A little bit. You see, you got it. Now you're talking
you
my
want to play
language.
that archer gif now? Quit. I can only be so erect.
Exactly. I'm gonna rip a hole in these jeans. Just kidding. I'm not wearing pants. I had some pretty good chicken tenders from Chick-fil-A, and I had never really eaten at Chick-fil-A, so I thought they were. You know who have bad ones though? Culver's. Oh, just the worst.
I don't really know like a local place that we could get chicken from, except there's that. I mean, there's a questionable spot in one of the more
Go on.
parts of Grand Rapids I wouldn't want to go into, and I think it was called Finn and I can't remember now, but it was like advertised that they sell like fish and chicken.
Yes,
But it was
I've
like,
seen a couple of places like that.
I can't
fish
remember
and
what it was
chicken.
called now, but I just would be afraid to go in there. So
I just forgot what I was gonna say. The breading definitely makes it though. The breading makes it, because if you don't have good breading, you don't have good chicken.
now, if chicken wing or chicken wangs counted, then
Chicken
there's a lot of
wangs.
people. There's two places that people at my work with like it, which is Wing Heaven.
Yeah, I was gonna say wing heaven. That's
and
what I was
then
gonna bring up.
We have Wing Doozy, which I've heard many good things about
can't-
Wing Doozy.
I can't go to a place called Wing Doozy. I don't even want to say it. It makes me embarrassed. Yeah, I like a little chicken place called Wing Doozy. It's a real doozy of a chicken place. I don't know. I'm not a big chicken fan. Chicken's boring.
Well, maybe you can weigh in more properly on this other
Fine.
that Mr. Dan sent us. He says, Fluxtaposed, I mean, come on. ABC7 Eyewitness News, disturbing video. Prowler spends 3 hours licking doorbell at California home.
What the hell? What? Okay, I clicked on it. Oh, that's an interesting. Okay, I'm just gonna call bath salts.
That's a picture of him,
Is
getting
this
into it.
Did the Florida man take a trip to California? Is that what happened? Is this
California,
Florida man?
man.
California.
Dan
No
pulled out a
doubt
great
about it.
quote from it. Is police said Arroyo could face misdemeanor charges of petty theft and prowling. As for the Dungans, which is the family it happened to, they said they came home and made sure to clean off their doorbell.
I can't look at this doorbell the same ever again. It's sullied, and I can't stand it. I would have changed out the doorbell.
I mean,
I would have given the guy the doorbell. Look, if you want it that bad,
he's-
take it. Take it home with you. He's going to town on it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really going to town on that thing.
Every time
I
it's
mean-
like bing bong, bing bong, bing 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 bing
mean-
bing 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 bing. I think he's close. Maybe he'll just go away. He can't get no satisfaction. It took 3 hours.
He had to be tripping on something, right? Because who would just go up to a doorbell and just like start
Oh,
licking the doorbell? I mean, how does that
question.
even
What's the
happen?
best doorbell you've ever had? You know what?
I mean, that's why, our thoughts went there, Tom.
Yes,
Thoughts went there. but
Yes. I mean, if it took him 3 hours, then it must not be that great. The tongue action is what I'm saying.
dude, my tongue would like fall off, I think, after that long. I mean, that's overexertion, man. That's a lot of
Too much
that's a lot of
saliva.
tonguing.
You need a lot of saliva. His tongue was dry for sure. You don't want to get dry tongue, because that's just like sandpaper in your mouth. In your mouth. It's not good. You gotta get that. You gotta keep that tongue nice and wet. What are you
God,
doing?
I'm sorry. I had a text from my wife, and it was a bunch of pictures of my son. I was
Tell
like,
her you're doing a podcast, and it's way more important than family.
That's right. That's right.
I tell my wife that all the time. She's messed with me 10 times. All exclamation points and capitalizing.
That's why she said, "Well, I'm gonna win. I'm just gonna make the family bigger, and then you'll have no choice."
Oh gosh, I'm going to my mom's.
Dan, again, thank you for those submissions. And while we're on the line of this this train of thought, Josh recommended to me in the Discord that if we like these dumb stories that you and I talk about that Dan gives to us, then he recommended a podcast to me, which is called Dumb
Oh, yeah.
People Town. The Sklar brothers host it, and I don't know who the third host is, but I think it might rotate actually a lot of times with a different comedian or person. But they just break down and talk about these dumb news stories that, much like what we just had tonight, who knows? One of these could very well make
What-
it into the next episode.
Other than
So,
that podcast, what other podcast is talking about this type of thing? Chicken and doorbells. I just came
I
up with a
mean-
new restaurant idea. Chicken and
Well,
doorbells.
look, you created a new podcast tonight.
I did.
Last of the party. You got a new restaurant.
I'm an
mean-
entrepreneur. I should be on Shark Tank. Obviously,
boy.
I got all the good ideas. I just need other
It-
people to do them for me.
And I'm going to take this moment to unfortunately plug a podcast that was recommended by Adam Leonard. That son of a bitch.
You guys.
Speaking of which, I have to tell you, I got a really nasty shout out on their most recent episode of Megadad's Live, which I almost encourage people to listen to simply for it because they burned me good. It was great. It was a good time.
I always approve of burning you.
Yeah, burning that bush.
The
Right?
master approves of burning.
Right? But he, ooh,
Yeah.
but he recommended a podcast on his most recent episode, which is called Challenger Approaching. It's by Ben Bertoli, who's a games journalist, part-time games journalist. But this is a history. It's not a history of Smash Brothers. It's a history of the games that are represented inside of Smash Brothers. So, like the first episode
Gotcha.
is details Castlevania. They did one that was F-Zero, the most recent episode of F-Zero. So I think so far there was Castlevania, Animal Crossing, F-Zero. Was it Earthbound? I can't remember. There's the four. I think there's only like 4 episodes out.
Question. What is
It's good. I like it.
What does F stand for in F-Zero?
Fucking zero.
I thought it would be Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
I don't know, like
Fahrenheit
Fahrenheit
zero.
zero. I don't know. Force zero. If anybody knows what the F stands for, we want you to write into the show. Write us at Jason. What's your address? Send a postcard.
Send a postcard. And with that,
Oh,
that
with
said,
that wonderful.
that's time. That's time to end the show. As a reminder, next week we are going to have a game that made us discussion, so you can look forward to that. Please get to those AMAs sent out, and it's time to thank all of our patrons, but a special thanks to our arbiters of awesomeness: Kevin Austin, Kyle Heyman, Tyler Rowland, Tom Servo, PSVG, Matthew Knight, welcome back, sir, and our executors of excellence: Josh Barboni, Dan Anthony, Edwin Calisiri, Nate, and Devin Dias. We thank you all for your support. If you want to join the Flux Legion, please head over to patreon.com/Fluxtaposed for all the details.
Show me the money.
You check it out. And Tom Servo's right. You have to actually watch the movie before you can reference that.
I don't have to watch anything.
I mean, it's
Ugh.
probably not as bad as some of the stuff you just subjected yourself to. I mean, I giggled.
Is it in another language? Because that automatically gets 2 points in my point system.
Whatever. That's gonna do it for Fluxtaposed this week. I'm a Jason Lacey. He is Lucas. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and come back next week for some more fun times with us. Yeah. Woo. We can do it together. Your
Teamwork.
powers combined. I'm Captain Planet.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
You get to be Heart.
Go planet.